Nothing is more devastating and robs a child of more than being sexually abused or molested in the foundational years of their life. Sherry Johnson experienced a shocking form of this abuse. She was forced to be married in 1971 at only 11 years old to one of her rapists. Johnson stands tall, using her story to make a difference, putting bills in Florida legislature to end the marriage of any minor in Florida altogether. Sherry Johnson was raped at 8, pregnant at 10, and forced to marry her abuser at age 11. After giving birth to more children, Johnson had to leave high school. Yes, there are still child brides in America, a shocking fact for many. Statistics released by the Pew Research Center show that nearly 5 in every 1,000 15 to 17-year-olds in the United States are married using loopholes in state laws to tie the knot. Unchained at Last found that between 2000 and 2010, more than 167,000 children were married. Most of these were cases where girls were marrying men 18 and older. I'm going to read an excerpt of Sherry Johnson's story, detailing the devastation of this tragedy, and where she rightly claims that the state of Florida failed her. For years, she kept silent, but now her voice rings clear in chambers where the state's laws are made. Her unrelenting public pleas to end child marriage are being heard. After a lifetime of struggle, Johnson's time has come. Finally. On this winter morning, days into the 2018 legislative session, she is on her way to meet with a state senator co-sponsoring a bill to abolish child marriage in Florida. An identical version has been introduced in the House. Johnson has spent the last 5 years lobbying lawmakers to stop the kind of abuse she suffered in her childhood. An effort to ban child marriage under the age of 16 got traction in the Florida House in 2014, but went nowhere in the Senate. Since then, Johnson's words have fallen on deaf ears. As incredible as this may sound, Florida stands poised to become the first state in America to say no, unequivocally, to all marriages of minors. Last year, Texas and Virginia enacted new laws limiting marriage to those 18 and over, but they made narrow exceptions for minors granted adult rights by the courts. The bills before the Florida legislature set 18 as the age of marriage and allow 0 exemptions. I can't relax right now, Johnson says without hesitation. I'm on a journey. I'm coming out. I first spoke with Johnson a couple of months ago and was taken aback that child marriage was still a persistent problem in the United States. Child marriages are legal in every U.S. state because of a hodgepodge of exceptions that let minors get married with parental consent or judicial approval. According to the Tahiri Justice Center, a national nonprofit group that tracks child marriage and aims to end gender-based violence. The U.S. State Department considers forced marriage a human rights abuse, and in the case of minors, a form of child abuse. Few perceive America as a land where child marriage occurs. We think of developing nations like Afghanistan, Somalia, and India, which ignobly led the world with almost 27 million child marriages in 2017. In Florida, Johnson has been instrumental. She has been vocal about the cruel history of her childhood. She hopes that one day soon she might be able to stand next to the governor as he signs a child marriage ban into law. That would be the vindication she has so earnestly sought for. There has been little opposition to the bill, though critics would still like Florida to make exceptions for minors who are voluntary participants or if their would-be spouses are in the military. Young servicemen and women sometimes want to marry their girlfriends or boyfriends before deploying on dangerous missions. To that argument, Johnson retorts, If you are under 18, you cannot make any other legal decisions. You cannot buy a house, join the military, vote, rent a car, or drink alcohol. How is it possible, then, to make a wise decision about entering into a legally binding partnership, one that is meant to be permanent? For Johnson, forgiveness was the only way to move forward, the only way she could speak freely about what she had suffered so she could save others. The hospital knew, the school knew, the courts knew, she says. So plenty of people knew, but nothing was done. The whole state of Florida failed me. I feel my life was taken from me, she says. The ones who were supposed to protect me didn't. For all of Johnson's heartbreaking yet empowering story, I'll leave the link in the description. It takes women like Sherry Johnson to use their stories as testimonies, to change the broken parts in the system, and to protect future generations.